Welcome back to another edition of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. We are your host. He's the Stallion. I am the Enforcer. And this week we are joined by a colleague, somewhat of a savant in the professional wrestling world, a character, but also an arch nemesis. For those who know, they know. BT, aka the Big BJ, if you attended Heinous Halloween 2002 in Islip. Yeah, it's Brian Tamburello, man. Welcome to the show. We appreciate it, and just thank you, man. Thank you for taking time, and thank you for having a glorious couple of locks of hair over there. God, you look good.
No, man. Thank you for having me, and Joe too. What's going on, guys? I mean, this is great to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me on, man.
Of course, you have a wildly successful podcast yourself, the Marked Out Wrestling Podcast. Find it everywhere podcasts are sold. iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and all those places I'm sure you're on. Also, if you happen to watch Global Syndicate Wrestling, you can see that handsome mug every single time as the ring announcer of GSW. And as on a personal level, we've known each other probably, I don't know, 25 years. God, I'm an old piece of shit.
Probably, yeah, about that.
Yeah, probably since middle school. And
yeah.
Brian and I were in an organization together back in our wrestling youth days called Extreme Hardcore Wrestling, EHW, and there are clips online. He was the Big BJ, which kind of was Mance Warner before Mance Warner was Mance Warner.
Yeah, I was going for more like Test. That was kind of what I was going. I mean, I came in as a bodyguard, so I mean that was really
that's a stretch. Those Speedo snap-ons were not exactly Test-esque, but you did later on develop the flannel, right? So
I did.
But no, that's we had some battles. There's some stop sign footage, a lot of footage on YouTube that was edited 14 years ago on YouTube. So thanks to Fez and the rest of the EHW.
That's right.
Just putting him over. Chris Payne,
Mr. Confusion, Black Death.
My arch nemesis. He was the Raven to my Tommy Dreamer.
I feel like we were, because we had a little bit of a feud going back. I think it was the summer of 2002, right? I think that was it 2 or 3. I think it was 2.
I think it was 2 into 3. It was a long feud. It was kind of like
it was a blood feud.
It was. It had the Hogan Macho lineage to it.
Oh yeah. Well, we need to get those matches. I know they're floating around, so I know they're on YouTube. We gotta get.
Fez had them up on some sort of server in 2003. The guy knew what he was doing back in 03, so they have to exist. We'll get some on the. Maybe we could do like a Marked Out / All Night Long Wrestling podcast.
We need to. We really need to. Yeah, it's been. I've been trying to set this up for I think we've briefly talked about it over the years, and it's never happened. But I'm glad that finally we're doing something.
It's 2021 now, which means we're roughly 19 years later. Joe, you were not part of the original EHW. Would you like to be my tag team partner to take on BT and the rest of the Marked Out Wrestling crew? It could be the ANLWP versus the Marked Out Wrestling crew.
I mean, I'm not in any sort of shape other than, rectangular. But if you, I'll be there, or I can certainly review the shows and post them somewhere, if you want me to get a little bit more traction.
Oh my God, that is such a good segue, because if you're looking for New Japan Pro Wrestling reviews, you could head on over to our Stallions reviews over at Scott Keith's blog of Doom, as he posts every single week. The guy, there's nothing that the Stallion doesn't do. So BT, when you and I put on the 5.5-star classic in the Egg Dome, Joe can review it for us.
Awesome. I know the trampolines are a little bit different in Japan, so we just have to make sure that we bring the,
like the Japanese table, right? Like
exactly. It's all different, so it has to be. Everything has to be, what we're used to. So
it's
standard, or I can't think of the word. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get the Jankos that I used to wrestle in too.
Yes,
like the 42-inch circular Jankos. God, I was really. I got a lot of women back then.
And your hate breed shirts too.
Dude, I swear to you, I still have the Hatebreed hoodie upstairs that I wear to the gym. And all right, here's a spoiler. July 17th, the Enforcer returns to the cage, right? I'll be competing for Bobby Campbell's Jackhammer Promotions. July 17th, I'm gonna man. I'm gonna choke some dude out and I'm gonna dump him on his head. But I'm thinking about walking to the cage to Bad Luck 13 Riot Extravaganzas 13, which was my entrance music from EHW. So it's coming around full circle in the year 2021, man.
I love it.
So, we're here to talk wrestling. We've talked independent wrestling, but it's our independent wrestling. Today has been a wild day in the world of professional wrestling. The WWE has come to terms with, off the top of my head, Aleister Black, Braun Strowman, Lana, Heidi Lovelace, who you might know as Ruby Riott, Buddy Murphy, and I think that was it, right?
Santana Garrett.
Santana Garrett.
Yeah. So I'll tell this one to Joe first. Joe, who surprised you the most?
I think just in terms of the names, Braun is the biggest name on that list and surprised me the most. Now, just hearing the news as it came out during the course of the day, it seemed like this was all budget cut related for whatever their budget cuts need to be. And I think Braun's contract, I looked it up, he was making like $1.9 million a year after he just re-signed a couple of years ago.
So American?
I believe it was American dollars. Yes, his American currency is what he was making. So I don't know why they picked him specifically of the big contracts they had, because obviously he'd been pretty much at a main event level for them for several years and in a lot of big storylines. And he was just in the main event for their last pay-per-view, I think on the Raw side for the title. So, I don't know what if it was just a budget cut thing or they had nothing else for him to do. But that was probably the biggest name for me. What do you guys think?
Well, Brian, do you think they had to make room for Cardi B at SummerSlam?
It could have been Cardi B. Could have been who is it? Eva Marie that they're also planning to bring back and all that jazz. But I mean, for me, the biggest one was absolutely Aleister Black. I mean, they're freaking just in the middle of repackaging him. He just came back to TV last week, and in fact, I think I saw something. They had a new shirt that was on pre-order. That's not even out yet, and he's already gone.
It's gonna be a classic. I can't wait.
Yeah, right. I know.
And he just said he has new theme music that he today. He said he had new theme music that was his favorite theme music ever, which kind of hurts because we're big incentives. But nobody's ever gonna hear it because the WWE owns it, and there's no reason to use it. So.
Wow. Well, Def Rebel. I mean, if it was it done by Def Rebel?
Oh, I don't know. He just said it was new theme music. He didn't go into detail.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it sucks, man. It doesn't suck. I think the WWE did the right thing because the Aleister thing, he just kicked Big E in the head on SmackDown. Yeah. Right? And SmackDown is clearly the WWE's flagship show. Like, it's not Raw anymore. Nobody watches Raw. It's fucking terrible. SmackDown's a good show and more people see it. And now you had video packages for Aleister for how long? And they've kind of built it up. If anything, I think what you're going to see, on SmackDown might be a complete. Is there going to be a draft where they're just like, we fucked up? There's like 4 women left on SmackDown that are not tag team champions. The women's division is destroyed. What is it like when they like a couple of years ago when Triple H was like, we understand. Our product sucks. We're gonna give you all the power, and they're gonna go people power. They're gonna bring Johnny back. What's next? What are we looking at? Brian.
Oh, me? I'm sorry. Yeah,
I'm going to you.
Dude,
I'm not used to the 3-man booth. It's weird. I gotta really enunciate. Jimmy Smith did a way better job than I did. Who I did like, by the way.
Yeah, he was good. He did a good job. I'm sorry. So what was your question again?
What the fuck is next? What's SmackDown gonna look like? Like, you have I don't know.
No, I mean, what I'm kind of thinking, and you kind of said it when you were just talking, but like, I mean, I know WCW, they did the whole like reboot thing, like in the middle, they just kind of stopped everything, and then they were just like, okay, we're taking back all the titles, and I mean, I don't think they've never done anything like that. I can't see them doing it. That would be insane. I mean, one of the things that I've heard, and I'm sure you guys have heard it too, was the whole rumors that they're prepping to sell WWE. They're cutting all their bigger contracts and downsizing all of their what was it last week? They got rid of a lot of their people that work in like their media and
and they got rid of everybody who ran the WWE network for fucking Peacock, which is god awful. I hate Peacock.
I don't even have it. I mean, I've used it very, very little bit, but
good luck finding anything.
Seriously.
The people who worked in the WWE network were great, and you're right, they got rid of all of them. So
right, yeah, but that's what and it kind of makes sense. Like, they're getting rid of all these bigger contracts, like Joe said. Braun had a pretty inflated contract. I don't know what Aleister's was or Tommy's. I don't even know what to call him now anymore. I'm so torn.
And Lana, I think, was making some good money, right? Joe?
She was probably making some good money. So I mean, it is kind of curious, like, why are they making these moves and why are they cutting bait with all these people? And apparently it's not even the end. Apparently there's going to be some more names that I know we were talking about. Keith Lee, that was one of the ones that came up too. It's just, I don't fucking know, man.
Keith Lee,
can I curse? Am I allowed to drop F-bombs on you? Okay.
You know how many times Joe's had to edit things out that I didn't realize were insensitive after I said it? I found I'm not good at that. Yeah, still don't understand P's and Q's really, but And everybody's like, oh, AEW is going to pick him up. Like, you know, this would be one of those things where I'm like, yeah, they fucking should pick up a lot of them. It's not like you're getting rid of bait that's like, you know, a dead weight that's 40 or 50 years old. I feel, I just don't know what it's going to be like. You flip on SmackDown, you're going to be like, what am I looking at? And if the WWE is, Joe, let me ask you, you know everything. We call you Wrestlepedia for a reason. Will the WWE sell to Disney?
I mean, it certainly seems like they're heading in a direction where they might sell. Right now, I don't know who they're going to sell to, because so they have this some sort of partnership or allegiance with like NBC and that Universal, whatever it is, right? Because they've sold the network to Peacock. They're on USA. They've had deals in the past with Saturday Night's Main Event. So I don't know like who the buyers are or could be. But I could certainly see them doing something like that. I mean, Vince is in his 70s now. He's already, in some facets, lost his mind, right? So we don't know where it's going to go from here. And I see all this stuff with, occasionally where people are selling their stocks, like the Triple H's and Stephanie's and whatnot. And, this guy, I think it's Nick Khan, is kind of their new point man for stuff. And in addition to some of the releases you guys mentioned last week, I think there were some like executives that got let go that had been there for quite some time. So, yeah, I mean, it certainly looks like it's heading in a direction where they're cutting off some of this, maybe trimming some of the bloated contracts and this excess money that they don't necessarily need to spend because their roster is so bloated to begin with. And maybe they're gearing up to make a huge sale like UFC did a few years back.
Right.
Yeah, but aren't they going to start touring? That's the rumor. They're going to start touring the next couple of weeks. So
yeah,
to me, are you cutting weight because you're going to have to? It's going to cost you to tour, maybe because the arenas aren't going to be as filled, or are you? Wouldn't you need more if you're going to have two brands? I mean, I don't know if they've discussed how they're going to do the touring, if it's going to be combined shows or if it's going to be branded shows, but you would think you might need more people than you're allotting. But I don't know, man. I'm not Vince McMahon. I never booked myself to make out with my daughter on national, but, just a thought. But so I'm going to run down these names, and I want each of you guys to tell me where you see them going. So we'll start. Santana Garrett. Joe, we'll go to you.
I would guess something like either Impact or NWA would be my guess for her. I mean, she's not a huge mainstream name. I know we saw her on the independent circuit and Shine and stuff like that. So that would be my guess for her, right? Where she could maybe get a little bit more exposure in a company like Impact or the NWA.
Great. Brian?
I mean, 100% what Joe just said. I know she was working for both companies right before she signed. In fact, I saw her at that joint NWA Ring of Honor show when it was her against Allison Kay. Actually, I think it was for what was that, like 2019? I think it was.
That the
that was all this. Crockett. Yeah, Crockett Cup. Yeah. Okay. That one.
That's a great one. I agree. I think I'm going to say Impact Wrestling. Impact Wrestling has a really strong women's division, and they have no problem. I know she knows a lot of the other women's wrestlers now. She's worked with them a bunch of times. And Impact, say what you want about Impact Wrestling, TNA, whatever you want to call them, they do have a very strong women's division. So I'm going to say Impact. Next up, this is a tough one. Buddy Murphy. Brian, over to you. Where's Buddy Murphy going?
Dude, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know because to be honest, I'm not really sure. I mean, I know he's Australian, right? I don't know who his buddies are, but like his allegiances are. I really didn't mean to do that, but like who his friends are and stuff. Like a lot of people you can kind of pick and like know who they hang out with and where they're gonna go for the most part. It's I feel that way is true. With him, I'm not really sure. I mean, if judging by his style, I would have him in New Japan if you could go over there. I know travel is kind of crazy right now, but I mean, if he could go there, that would be ideal for me. But realistically, I mean, probably somewhere like Impact. I mean, who knows? Maybe MLW too. Maybe he'll somehow get in the draft, or I don't know. I guess they're not doing it for that long. He still has 90 days, so.
Oh yeah, they do have the whole name. They can.
Yeah. So, but man, I don't know. What do you think?
I feel like he would fit very well in a Ring of Honor. But again, to your point, I don't know where he lives.
Ring of Honor.
Yeah, so that's.
I don't know much about him.
Ring of Honor, you look like they have the Mark Haskins, they have the Vicky Haskins, they have Joe, Ring of Honor, Australian. Who am I thinking of?
Is that a Sledge? Sledge, one of those.
Flex the
Joe
business.
Hendry, yes.
I feel like I should know that. But
yeah, me too. But they have a lot of international talent. I think he fit in really well over there. What about you, Joe?
Yeah, I was gonna say really Ring of Honor, New Japan. That would be my thought for him, and especially like Brian was saying, if he could be in like the junior heavyweight division in New Japan, I could see definitely him slotting in there very well. And since they still have, I think, a working relationship with Ring of Honor, I don't know if that's still kind of a thing, but he could probably work both.
Or do they have a working relationship with AEW?
Ooh. But they definitely seem to have a working relationship with Impact. So that much we know, right? Because they sent over, I think, Kojima and Finn Juice, right? So a couple guys have worked over there. So
sorry, big fan of Finn Juice. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not like the old days. You're like, oh, he's gonna go there. He's gonna go nowhere else. He could fucking be on MLW on Tuesday, and then you get big in Ring of Honor, the next day. Next up, Lana. Joe, where's Lana going?
I can't see any place for her other than going back to being aligned with Miro. That would be the only thing I could see for her, right? I don't see her going out and being a wrestler on the indies. So I would think, if anything, she maybe would pop up in AEW as Miro's manager again or something like that.
Miro's wife. I hate to do that to you guys. Like, oh, it's so sexist. I'm like, well, she's not a great wrestler. She tries hard, but she's not a great wrestler. She's not the best promo. And if you want to be with your husband, AEW has a pretty flexible schedule. So I'm going to go with AEW on that, right?
Same reasoning. Yeah, I mean, everything that you guys just said totally makes sense for Lana. And plus, I mean, the fact that obviously everybody knows that they're freaking married. You can't really do anything else. I mean, I guess it would be cool if you can like have her come in and screw Miro over at first, but I don't know.
Bang Bobby Lashley on TV.
Yeah, like I don't know. Where do you go from there? So I feel like the only place that she realistically can go is AEW and align herself with Miro. And I mean, it'll make both of them happy. So the happier they are, then the better the product will be.
Can somebody fucking tell my boss that? God, this guy did. Next up, let's go Ruby Riott, aka Heidi Lovelace. I love Ruby Riott. I think she's awesome. I think she's criminally underrated. She never gets any time to wrestle. I mean, she looks different. She got tattoos and shit like that. And I don't know, how the WWE viewed her. That she was part of the Riott Squad for a while. They were doing some good stuff, and the Riott Squad with her and Liv Morgan were like the only real tag team that the WWE had, and now they've split them up. I think Ruby Riott would make a great addition to the AEW roster. I don't think she has to be a headliner there per se. But the AEW, the roster they're expanding to Rampage. They have Dark Elevation. They have quarterly pay-per-views, but they also have quarterly shows coming up on TNT. It's like kind of like a Clash of the Champions. So there's plenty of opportunity for her to wrestle, and I think the talent pool over there is getting deeper and deeper. So I would like to see Heidi Lovelace in AEW. Joe?
I think for me, I don't know. I mean, I guess I would also say Impact for her, or maybe, if Ring of Honor is going to continue to be serious about trying to reboot their Women of Honor division. I know they're kind of putting together a tournament for that. I'm not sure that the 90-day compete clause would allow her to be a part of that, but I could see her working in those places also. Since I think she is more of an in-ring type person versus like a Lana or something like that. So I would say that would be my guess for her.
Brian, what do you think?
I mean, man, I guess again, I'm gonna have to lean towards where I want to see her, and I think that would be AEW. I feel like that's where she could be the most utilized. I mean, I know they're getting better with their women's division right now, and they have a lot of good names that are there. They just have to kind of utilize them a little bit better, and I feel like adding her into the mix, I feel like that would just give the whole division just another kind of just element of legitimacy, kind of
like instant credibility,
Right.
And
yeah.
She's the type of woman that's going to walk in. You're like, okay, you have 7 minutes. You're going to get an above average 7-minute match. So
right.
I'm with you on that one. Last two, let's go with the big guy first. Braun Strowman. Joe, where does Braun Strowman go?
Oh man, yeah, I don't know. That's a great question. I've heard some people say like New Japan or something like that for him, but I just don't know if he really has like the kind of the work rate to hold up there. Like if I compare him to someone like Jeff Cobb, right, who's like a big dude, like Jeff Cobb can wrestle, right? Like he's a really strong, like, technical guy. So I don't know. I don't know where Braun, maybe something like MLW, I could see him being like a name there. I don't know if AEW is going to jump on him just because, Mike, as you know, I'm a little bit I don't want to see AEW just bring in every single guy that gets released, especially some of these bigger guys. And we've talked I've complained off air about them signing Big Show and Mark Henry and stuff like that, but we won't go down that path today. So that's where I think
I do want to get there. I want to hear Brian's opinion on that because we did it. But
so I'll say MLW for him. But what about you, Brian?
Oh man, see, he's one of those guys that like he was like a WWE creation. He wasn't really doing anything before then. He was a power lifter. He didn't like work the indies and then got signed by William Regal at a PWG show or anything like that. So I don't know. I don't see him. First of all, I don't really see him working the indies, right? He's gonna probably either go to like a big company.
And he shit all over the indies a year ago. Remember
yeah.
Like, oh, I lived in my.
That's so funny. I forgot about that.
He's like after the first round of cuts for COVID, he's like, oh, everybody's saying, I lived in my Kia and I lived. I
oh my god, you're right.
And everybody's like, oh yeah, how'd that age, huh?
Right, but like I don't know. He's really the most interesting one actually out of all of them. Not because he's a former WWE champion or whatever, but more so because of the fact that he's one of those guys that he wasn't a wrestler before WWE. So is he going to really have that drive to like get all the like? And I'm sure they, there's other people that help, but like Pro Wrestling TV Store and bookings and all the shit that like WWE helps out with and kind of provides for their talent. I don't know. I mean, is that something that he's going to want to do, or is he just going to want to just do like appearances and conventions and just take pictures? There's nothing wrong with that. That's cool. You should make money off of your name and wrestling.
Your IP, yeah.
Yeah, right. I don't know, man. I'm gonna say, if anywhere, Impact. I'm gonna say Impact.
Hot take. I don't think he goes anywhere. I think Braun Strowman is done. I think he's done with wrestling. I think he's going to be the 2021 Zeus. So he could do conventions and stuff like that. But the dude can be in movies. He looks like a fucking, literally a train, right? He choo choo bitches, right? That was his gimmick. And if he was making 1.9 million a year flat rate for WWE, that's what they signed him at. He's making $2 million a year. He's going to go do an MLW booking for what?
Right.
That's chump change to him. And, he's got a look. He could walk into Hollywood right now and be cast in the next Spider-Man movie. I never was a big Braun Strowman guy. So it's one of those things. To your point, it's like WWE or bust for him, because that's where. Dude, imagine going from like WWE catering to like Ring of Honor. And I love Ring of Honor, but it's like, the fuck is a filet mignon? Like he's not. No, that's not going to be what he's not going to be about that life. I don't think. I don't know Braun Strowman, but. And he made his name in powerlifting, and his lifts are fucking unbelievable. He also played softball and stuff like that. His dad played softball. So the dude, he's not I don't even think he's 40 yet. I could be wrong. But if he wants to wrestle, he could get a contract probably anywhere. But I just think movies is going to be it for him. So.
He's going to go like the Nathan Jones path. Kind of.
Dude, what a reference. Yes, exactly. The Nathan Jones path. Yep. All right, last up, Aleister Black, aka Tommy End. I'm just gonna say it. Aleister Black, Tommy End, Dark Order. To me, somebody posted this today, and I think Tommy End would be a perfect leader of the Dark Order. Just his interaction with John Silver and Reynolds would be legendary. He could be an amazing babyface. I think it was a terrible way to do what they did to him, and I think all the WWE really did by giving him this much TV time up until now was prepare him for a bigger role, and that role is the new Exalted One, passing the torch from Brody Lee to Tommy End. So that's where I see him, AEW. Brian?
I hadn't even considered the whole Dark Order part of that. That sounds fucking awesome.
Imagine him and Reynolds and Silver.
Oh my God.
Classic. Or making fun of 10. It's great.
Yeah, well, even if they wanted to like go down, because after Brody passed, like they kind of had no other choice but to kind of go babyface. But I feel like if they bring him in and as a leader, they can. That's a good way to kind of go back down that like heel path if they choose to.
You can just come out and say you guys are a bunch of pussies. You got soft. And go back to the dark side. So.
Yeah, but 100%, I feel like he's more than likely gonna show up in AEW.
Joe, what do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think there's a lot of opportunity for him there, for sure. Whether it's with the Dark Order or any other of the many factions that AEW has right now. So he can certainly pop up there. And I could see him working in New Japan as well. I think his style could translate over there if he wanted to do a couple of tours, depending on, I don't know what his goals are, but I think certainly AEW, I think would be my number one choice for him.
As far as matches and match quality, like Tommy End versus Eddie Kingston, dude, I'm sold. I'm sold to any of the matches he could possibly have, and I think he's going to be their biggest loss over time because the dude's got superstar written literally all over him, and he speaks to the AEW fan base. So, listen, as I said before, I think WWE, if you're not going to use these wrestlers, the right thing to do is to cut them. You don't want them sitting in the back and catering, growing dust while they're in the prime of their life. So, kudos to them for for doing the right thing and letting these guys work. I know they're all professionals and they want to work, and now they're going to get a chance to do that. It does not mean doom when you get cut from the WWE at all. So, actually, Brian, while this is a perfect transition, I'll talk about GSW, Global Syndicate Wrestling. You have one option of anybody on this list to see work in a GSW ring, Brian. Who would you like to see? And when are you booking it, and where can we see it?
Oh my God. 1,000,000% Tommy End. He is the one dude on there. The one name on there that I would 1,000,000% love him on a GSW show. I don't know who's to say what's going to happen. Or you know what? And I got to give also a nod to Andrade. Obviously he wasn't released in this wave, but he's another guy I would love to freaking see in GSW if that could happen. But I don't know if I'm not the guy that makes those decisions. That's a little bit above my pay grade. But if Tommy End could be in GSW, I'm all for it.
Tell us how GSW in a year's time, as we were talking about off air, like during the pandemic, went from a promotion you never heard of because it didn't exist to having a Hammerstone and the Dirty Daddy Chris Dickinson main event to show. So overnight sensation, really.
Yeah, man. I mean, that was our second show that we just had a few weeks ago. But the first show that we've had, Inception, was February. So it was like almost right after, like, I would say like the worst part of I don't want to say the worst part of COVID, but that was like the thick of it. I feel like
the holidays. Once you got past that, it was like, okay, we can kind of breathe now.
Yeah. And so we were on the tail end of that, and the show it was like late February. That was our first show, and we had it at the Monster Factory, and of course everyone had to wear a mask, and we had the seats, socially or distance rather. But man, I don't know. I mean, it's just the talent pool that are on the shows. I mean, that's really what's going to get the attention, obviously, from the women that we've had on all the shows. We've had some local names.
It's like you went through the All Night Long Wrestling podcast guest list, and
that's pretty much that's exactly what we did. Yeah,
we draw the biggest houses. We put people over. We had Keith Lee on. All of a sudden, he goes to NXT and he's a champion. Shane Taylor's on. He becomes Shane Taylor Promotions. Nick Aldis twice. You're welcome for the house.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Wasn't Bischoff? Didn't Bischoff talk to you guys, and then that's when you got signed to WWE, right? Yeah, like.
You're welcome. Like, we put people in the Hall of Fame. We're just a stepping stone.
Well, hey, I'm hoping I get the all night wrestling rub. Exactly.
Yeah, we'll sprinkle a little all night long dust on you. See where it takes you.
Oh man, but yeah, man, it's just, and that's one of the things that Brandon, one of the owners of GSW, that he also kind of said too. If we can get a show done during, in the pandemic, then I feel like we can kind of survive really like anything, because that's really kind of the hardest time to really try to launch a company. So yeah, man, hopefully things will things are loosening up now and getting a little bit easier to run shows. We've got two shows in August 20th and August 21st. We've got two shows back to back. We're going to be finishing out. Yes.
At the Monster Factory?
No, it's not in the Monster Factory, but it's in where is it? They just announced where it was. Let me pull it up. Drawing a blank.
It's okay. Skype is telling us we have 3 minutes and 14 seconds.
Yeah, no, I got it. I see it over here on my side too.
It's in New York, Long Island, about 20 minutes away from Exit 63.
No, yeah, no. House of Independence. Duh, that's where it is. Asbury Park.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Will Joey Janela be there? And will he be doing coke in the background?
Joey Janela will not be there. I'm hoping I see like the ghost of Bam Bam Bigelow. Hopefully,
I was just going to make a reference to that. That's fantastic.
Hopefully he will be there. But yeah, we've got so we're going to be finishing up the Global Cup, which is our women's tournament. We're going to be crowning the first GSW women's champion. In the finals, we have Allison Kay versus Trish Adora. And then we also have Deonna Purrazzo versus Vicious Vicky. So almost like a battle of New Jersey for that one. And then the winners go on. And I don't know if the matches are going to be that night, if it's going to be on the 21st. I don't think that has been announced yet. But either way, we're going to get a women's champion after those two shows. Plus, we're going to have the return of Davey Richards as well. So he's going to be, I'm sure he's going to return before then, but he's going to be wrestling in a GSW ring. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Dude, that's going to be so cool. Okay, so, I mean, my birthday is August 18th. So if I could somehow get to Asbury Park on August 20th,
that
would be fucking awesome. And not for nothing, Vicious Vicky, I was not familiar with her pre-GSW. She is awesome. She got a great promo too on Holly Dead. So you guys have a ton of talent there, and it's like a nice mix of established, veterans, and then this up and coming talent. You guys are doing a fantastic job.
Now with the best friends.